Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a highly frustrating mystery that honestly happens in almost every single home. We're going to look at the invisible architecture that dictates our daily lives, our work, and our entertainment, and figure out why it sometimes just completely fails us. Because it's kind of a modern paradox, right? We can beam a high-definition video from a server halfway across the globe in actual milliseconds, yet somehow, we can't always get that same exact video to play when we just walk into our own bedroom.
I mean, we've all experienced this exact scenario. You're sitting in the living room, your phone shows a perfect 5G signal or full Wi-Fi bars, and you're streaming something flawlessly. But the absolute second you step into the hallway or close your door, boom, the signal drops to zero. It feels like a glitch in the matrix, or, maybe you just blame your internet provider. But why does your signal actually die there? Well, the truth is way more fundamental than a faulty piece of hardware. We aren't fighting a bad internet provider. We are fighting the immutable laws of physics. So to understand why these annoying dead zones exist, we need to pull back the curtain on how wireless data actually travels through the air.
First things first, wireless data isn't magic. Whether it's the Wi-Fi in your house, the ultra-fast 5G on your phone, your Bluetooth headphones, or even the GPS guiding your car, it is all transmitted via electromagnetic radiation. Technically speaking, Wi-Fi is just a color of light that human eyes cannot see. It's an invisible wave traveling through the physical space around you right now, bouncing off your walls, passing through your windows, and interacting with your environment just like a beam from a flashlight. The only difference is it operates at a frequency completely imperceptible to human retinas. Now, because this data travels as a wave, it's defined by two really fundamental metrics. First up is frequency, which is basically just how fast the wave vibrates. And second is wavelength, meaning the actual physical distance between the peaks of that wave. Keeping this relationship between vibration speed and width in mind is the absolute secret to why your bedroom is a dead zone. The faster a wave oscillates, the tighter and closer together those peaks become. Understanding this little interplay, that unlocks the mystery of our entire modern telecommunications infrastructure.
It all boils down to the golden rule of wireless physics. There is a brutal trade-off between capacity and penetration. So what does that mean exactly? Well, the higher the frequency, so the faster those waves vibrate, the more data the wave can carry per second. But, and this is a massive physical catch, the worse it becomes at penetrating solid objects. You can have immense data capacity for blazing fast downloads, or you could have great wall penetration to reach the other side of your house. But you absolutely cannot have both. You either get a bulldozer that moves slowly but pushes through anything, or you get a sports car that goes incredibly fast but totally crashes at the first sign of a speed bump.
Section 1. The Wi-Fi router battle, 2.4 gigahertz versus 5 gigahertz. Most modern routers actually broadcast these two separate networks simultaneously for a very specific reason. Think of 2.4 gigahertz as the slow, steady marathon runner. Because it operates at a lower frequency, its waves are longer and way more spread out. And these longer waves are fantastic at bending around corners and punching right through drywall, wood, and your furniture. It gives you incredible range across your entire house. But because the wave is slower and the peaks are further apart, it simply cannot pack as much data per second. On the flip side, we have 5 gigahertz. This is our sprinter. It operates at a higher frequency, meaning the waves are packed super tightly together, carrying a massive payload of data for incredibly fast speeds and buttery smooth 4K streaming. But of course, there is a catch with our sprinter. 5 gigahertz is blazingly fast in the same room as the router, but it's practically useless 2 rooms away. Why? Well, because those tight, fast-moving waves are incredibly fragile. When they hit a solid object, like your bedroom drywall, a heavy metal door, or even a dense bookshelf full of paper, they do not bend around it. They crash right into it. They either get absorbed or reflected back into the room, making standard drywall the ultimate enemy of your high-speed connection. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it. The most advanced routing technology in the world can be completely defeated by a wooden door or just a pile of laundry.
All right, moving to Section 2, the extreme 5G dilemma, scaling up the problem.
So, if a standard bedroom wall defeats your home Wi-Fi, you can imagine how the problem multiplies exponentially outdoors. To put this monumental leap in perspective, traditional 4G LTE cell networks that we've relied on for years operated at relatively low frequencies, usually topping out around 2.5 gigahertz. But the absolute fastest flavor of 5G, a really cool technology known as mmWave, pushes into the extreme high end of the electromagnetic spectrum. We're talking operating anywhere between 24 and 100 gigahertz. At these frequencies, the waves are literally measured in millimeters. This extreme compression allows mmWave to carry mind-boggling amounts of data. We're talking true gigabit download speeds directly to the phone in your pocket. It's effectively putting fiber optic cable speeds right into the open air. But With that kind of unprecedented speed comes a massive, massive hurdle. At 24 plus gigahertz, 5G mmWave behaves almost exactly like a flashlight beam. If you are standing on a street corner and you're looking directly at a 5G antenna with a clear, unbroken line of sight, you are going to get incredible, earth-shattering internet speeds. You could literally download an entire high-definition movie in seconds. But just like a flashlight, if anything steps in front of the beam, you are suddenly left completely in the dark. The signal just flat out cannot penetrate obstacles.
And listen, when I say anything can block it, I mean anything. Glass, brick, the leaves on a tree in the middle of the summer, a passing delivery truck. If you turn a corner or step inside a coffee shop, that multi-billion-dollar gigabit signal drops instantly. It's so incredibly fragile that it can even be blocked by your own hand simply holding the phone the wrong way. It's a classic tech world irony, right? The pinnacle of human engineering completely thwarted by a palm. But that is the brutal reality of high-frequency physics in the real world. When we pull all of this together, an unavoidable inverse relationship emerges. As we move from your home's 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi up to 5 gigahertz, and finally all the way up to ultra-fast 5G mmWave, the frequency increases dramatically, and the data speed absolutely skyrockets. But consequently, wall penetration completely plummets. The faster the internet, the weaker its ability to pass through matter. It's a fundamental law of the universe. You are constantly trading durability for velocity, and there is no magic software update out there that can patch out the laws of physics.
Which brings us to Section 3, cheating physics, and how engineers adapt. So what do we actually do about this? I mean, we can't legislate physics, so human engineers just have to cheat. To make these high-frequency networks usable, we literally have to change our physical infrastructure. Outdoors, instead of relying on one massive cell tower to cover a whole town, 5G requires what we call small cells. These are tiny antennas placed on street lamps, traffic lights, and building corners just to ensure your phone almost always has a direct line of sight. Indoors, we fix the fragile 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi problem with mesh networks. We place multiple router nodes all around the house to actively bounce the signal around corners, effectively creating a web that routes the data around the walls it can't penetrate. It leaves us with a pretty fascinating reality. The faster we want our data, the more antennas we literally have to build to catch it. Our technological future is incredibly fast, yes, but we are essentially forced to blanket our living spaces in our cities with receivers simply because the fastest invisible light in the world cannot push through a standard wooden door. Every single leap in data speed requires a proportional leap in physical hardware scattered throughout our physical environment. So as we endlessly demand faster and faster internet, are we ready for a more fragile digital future? It's really fascinating to realize that our pursuit of instantaneous global connection is ultimately bound by the physical, invisible walls of the universe. The next time your signal drops as you walk into your bedroom, you won't just blandly blame your router. You'll know you're experiencing the immutable laws of physics firsthand. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions about the world around you, and I will see you next time.